Be the right club. Be the right club today.
Johnny, that's better than most.
How about in?
That is better than most. Better than most.
Expect anything different?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up live show, presented, as always, by our friends at High Noon. Shout out to them. Solly here. Neil is here. Block party canceled. Weather issues. We are indoors.
Oh, so guys, I need everybody to shelter in place. Live show, we're gonna have to push it back 30, 45 minutes. Apologies.
I just downed a bunch of spicy Indian food right before this because this live show has screwed up the timing of my dinner here. But DJ Pie is here. Hello again, Mr. Pie Man.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on your show. I got to say, speaking of High Noon, one of my favorite tweets I saw today was from Alan Shipnuck was talking about the specific color of hair dye that Phil Mickelson uses, and that the color is black cherry. So Neil, we're reaching for the black cherry tonight.
I like that.
Already messing up my copy because we're doing tequila seltzers tonight. This is presented by our friends at High Noon. The brand new High Noon tequila seltzer is made with real Blanco tequila and real juice. Every time I go to a restaurant, I am looking for some kind of spicy tequila drink. Listen, they don't necessarily have the spice in these things, but I was so thrilled that my favorite seltzer came out with a tequila seltzer. It comes in 4 bright, crisp flavors: strawberry, lime, grapefruit, and passion fruit. Strawberry is my favorite. I'm starting with that one tonight. 100 calories, gluten-free, no added sugar. They sent us thank you to High Noon. They sent a wonderful Drizzly order straight to my doorstep today. And that's where you can find them at Drizzly or at your local convenience or liquor store. They're going to be fully available nationwide by May 1st, just in time for summer if it's not quite in your area. But keep an eye out for it, or visit highnoonspirits.com to find it near you. Let's not waste any time.
Hold on. I'm going to push back a little bit. Yesterday was a tequila day. Today, cold, rainy, just a little bit more of a vodka day. So I'm just going to throw that out there as a theme.
We got buffering issues going on with Neil. He's just having a bad week. It's been a bad week. So why don't we get right to our guests? We got a lot of guests, I think, to get to tonight. And thought we'd just bring our guy right in. This is a familiar face. The man needs no introduction. The Big Rig, Mr. Harry Higgs. What's happening, Big Rig?
Hey, gentlemen. Happy to be here again. Always a pleasure.
Harry, I got to ask, are you on a cell phone or are you on a computer? Because one of my favorite things about this is a lot of pro golfers are now like, yeah, I don't think I have a computer.
I do not have a computer. I'm on my laptop, which is propped up in my girlfriend's office here in the house on some sort of contraption that just wound up perfect. Her laptop is like elevated and she's got a keyboard underneath it. I don't know how any of this works.
Is a laptop not a computer?
I think that counts.
That's a computer.
I would say that's a computer.
Yeah.
I'm also,
but I'm on my iPad. I do not have a laptop, nor do I have a computer. I haven't had a laptop since college.
Well, I'm thrilled to see that you're a big map guy too. You know,
yeah, this is what we got behind us. So, you know, we're still like the Knicks. We've been in this house almost a year, and we just have to kind of decorate like the little things. All the furniture, all the big stuff is here, but it's hard to do that because I'm never home. So
once you get it to livable, you just hang out there.
You just kind of stop.
8 months. Yeah. We can take that off.
It's livable.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm messing your agenda. Please continue.
Thank you, everyone, for the rousing start we're off to here.
We're letting people trickle in.
This is tough. If you guys wanted to do this like quick and concise, it's tough to have me on at all and have me as the first guest.
Well, I'll give you the option. Do you want to talk trees or do you want to talk golf, Harry Higgs?
I guess a little bit of both. Yeah, those big ass trees, they start falling. That had to be wild. I'm very, 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 very fortunate that no one got hurt. And that freaks me out, man. It looked like those two fell, and then they had a shot of another one that kind of like halved somewhere. That's wild.
That's not normal, right?
No,
golf tournaments, right? Like
no.
Is that concerning in your mind? I think there's people that are roasting us on Twitter for being like, hey, putting a hand up and being like, yo, dude, like this isn't like supposed to happen. They're still playing golf when this happened. It wasn't like a 50-mile-an-hour wind delay and trees are falling over. Like this is. Yeah,
it looked like it was blowing gusts up to 20, 25, maybe 30. And it was just kind of like quick gusts and then it would lay down a little bit. That's I wouldn't be shocked if they are going around the entire property now, especially ones that could like fall on patrons or players, and testing all the trees in some way, shape, or form. Like somebody messed up there for it to fall over at kind of with those wind speeds. Or Mother Nature also is just a bitch, so it could have just been that too. But somebody might have messed up planting that darn thing there and having it blow over at that time.
Well, I've got two things there. I thought it was indicative of how Augusta National does things. Looks like they had an absolute all-star team of guys standing by, hard hats, the over-ear mufflers.
Yeah.
Most of them were in short sleeves in the rain. Like they didn't give a shit. And then they had the guy with the blower. I mean, it just probably 20, 25 guys out there. I bet it looks like nothing happened. I mean,
it will definitely by tomorrow now. I mean, had they restarted play and in an hour or so, I bet you couldn't have even noticed what had happened. And by tomorrow it will be like nothing ever happened. Hell, there might be a tree in its place already by tomorrow.
That was one of the things that kind of sparked in my mind was just, man, that doesn't seem like a freak storm, and there's so many of those trees out there. This kind of thing, like this is also like the exact kind of thing where when you don't ever hear anything about Augusta, like maybe this happens all the time. Truly,
yeah.
Like maybe that's why they're out there. Maybe they're almost like, that could happen again. And it's just weird because we just nobody's ever there. Nobody's ever like tweeting photos, or I don't know. I'm not here to speculate on root structure, the integrity of root structures, things of that nature. So that was about all I had on Treegate. I think. Glad nobody got hurt.
I think it's no surprise it happened on 17 though. I mean,
true.
On the golf course, gets stinkier by the day.
Those trees weren't in play, Neil. Easy.
Listen, but that hole sucks. Harry, what do you think of 17?
I had a really hard time with 7 and 17 just because they're so straight.
I was saying that this morning. Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah,
I would use the word boring, but straight works as well.
Boring but like, yes, it doesn't have as much character as the other holes, but it's just so hard to hit it that straight for that long. And they're made a little easier because you could also just hit it low and just kind of have it roll up the hill. Now, this was at least last year. It was a little firmer and faster than it is going to be this year. But yes, after the tee shot on both 7 and 17, the rest of it is pretty, maybe not boring, but pretty simple.
Well,
just
I would say
right
if there's any good that comes out of this tree situation, it's that, it's called attention to Stinky Nandina and the changes that need to be made. And I'll rest my case.
Put some trees up that left-hand side, maybe force a shape. Who knows? But I'm not in charge of any of that.
What's your reaction
with stray balls? So
what is your reaction to seeing Brooks Koepka at the top of the leaderboard, considering his play, ignoring the previous week coming into it, considering the play of the last couple of years, all of this? What's as a peer and a professional golfer, what's your reaction to seeing Brooks up on top?
I think you got to be surprised. He kind of ran away and hid, but it seemed, and he said, he's had some success over there on that other tour. But who knows? You can't tell what that success is like with the guys you're beating. The Live Tour, yeah, sure.
Never won on that other tour.
Yeah, the other tour. I'm just gonna keep calling it, and they're suing us. So as long as there's still a lawsuit in place, it's the other tour. Yeah, and boy, it looks like, and I wasn't really. I guess I don't really remember watching too intently when he was dominating. I was out trying to make it to that level. But it sure looks like he's found that level again. And it seemed like all he really needed to do was get healthy. So you certainly see there seems to be a lot of freedom in his golf swing, which would, look a little different than the last few years, I'm sure. By little cuts and bruises, little injuries here and there, he didn't have this same freedom, and boy, does he look freed up. It looks like the ball is kind of working a little, just slightly both ways. Everything is super solid. He's holding a lot of putts, and he's got a 3-shot lead as of now.
To me, it looks
that type of like I don't know. I mean, that's just capital M, capital C, like major championship golf.
That's what
playing out there. It looks
dull.
like perfect golf.
Yeah, it's not insanely hot. He's not birdieing every hole. He's not draining putts from everywhere. It's like, dude, it is going to be maybe a birdie, or it's definitely going to be a par. Like pretty much.
Well, he didn't make it. He didn't birdie a par 4 or a par 3 today. He just did it all in the par 5s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so and that's I know he took some flack for saying it, whatever it was, 3 or 4 years ago, about like how these are pretty easy to win, especially the Masters. The Masters is the easiest major to win because there are less guys, and some of them are past champs, and some of them are amateurs that are just not going to be that competitive. And then there are a lot of guys that will not be able to handle the moment per se. So if you just, well, I didn't say that. If you just have boring, you're kind of really solid, really kind of solid tee to green, and just kind of a lot, obviously very boring shots to 15, 18, sometimes 35 feet, you're going to be right there. And, you know, it seems like he's, instead of 15 to 18 feet, he's hit a few of them to 8 to 12 feet and hold the putts. And then he's just murdered the par fives. And here you go, 3-shot lead, you know, almost through 2 rounds.
Make it sound a lot easier than it actually is, but
it really is. And I go back and forth. I have oddly I've only played in 3 majors now, but I don't want to sound like
got
an
a good
ass,
major record. You could say
I have a good major record, and like I really am struggling in the other golf, like
other tour,
the other tour, the non-major tour, having like patience on my approach play, and you know that when what's asked of you is like there's no consequence, just fly it all the way to the hole and keep it there and make a lot of birdies. I struggle with that sometimes, versus like my numbers, strokes gained approach, are terrible, hopefully continuing to get better. But in the majors, there, you know, I think I was in the top 5 strokes gained approach of each of the one that I had success in, because like, holy shit, there's a lot of consequence to this shot. It has to be hit like one of maybe 2 ways, and it has to land here and end here. And it doesn't have to just fly all the way to the hole and stay there and you know, do that 10, 11, 12 times a day so that you have a ton of birdie looks. There is something to that. And Brooks obviously, you know, has far unlocked that secret more than I have, and done it over the course of 4 days quite successfully. But there is a simplicity to it that he has unlocked, and others have too, but he has unlocked, and he gets there, and you know, clearly when he's healthy and swinging somewhat decent, he gets there and just does the most patient, boring shit, and he's around the lead every single time. So I don't see him really falling off this pace either. I think, especially his major record, somebody's going to have to come up there and catch him.
Which,
You know,
speaking of which, there is a dude right
that's a
behind
word
him.
I haven't associated with Brooks, is patience, but I think that's the perfect word. It is. That's a really good way to describe what I was watching today and yesterday. And you know, I'm not a Brooks fan. I'm kind of a known hater, but deserves a ton of respect for just letting things come to him. And then he does drip in a few of those 20-footers when he's feeling it, and he's, you know, kind of swagging around out there. He kind of gets into the microwave section of his round, and he'll drop a couple of those. So
that's kind of what I was saying with like the you know, brand name major championship golf, is like, not to invoke something crazy, but like that's how Tiger plays majors, right? Where it's just like, man, this is you're gonna think it's really exciting, but it's so boring. And there's gonna be some holes where I'm gonna hit it to 30 feet, and that's within an inch of where I was looking. And what's that? I'm on 13 and I got a good number. Cool, I'll almost fly it in the hole. Sweet, let's take a look here. And he just goes and beats up the par 5s, and it's basically like Bryson's, you know, par 68, par 67, stuff. Just like
Brooks Brooks did the Bryson today.
Yeah, you can get hammer
the par 5s and be done with it.
You can get a sense of how well someone's playing when you are rooting against them. And I want to be clear, like, I'm not in principle like rooting against Koepka. Like I said in the preview, I was like, I would really like if one of these dudes came out and you know, reminded us of what kind of player they are. The what should have been a penalty thing on 15 yesterday has left a sour taste in my mouth, but I was at least a little bit like rooting for him to come back to the field. Like, I did not want to run away like we got last year. And through that lens, like, dude, it was tough to watch his round today. It's like, oh, well, he's not going to make a mistake here. He's not going to make a mistake there. He's not going to make a mistake there. He's number 1 in strokes gained approach so far this week and 5th in putting. Like, that's the Tiger method for major championships. And he's played that to perfection. But to ask you about, you rolled your eyes there when I mentioned that incident in 15 fairway yesterday. Is that a problem? What we saw there yesterday?
No, I don't view it as a problem because I've benefited from it. I have
from looking into a bag or from talking
looking
about it?
into, or maybe looking at a hand signal that is much more discreet, and it's usually not a hand signal from the player, it's usually a hand signal from the caddy. We all stand on a par 3 and you're going first. I'm sure my brother's done it. I hit, and hell, I mean, if you're between 5 and 6 and you swing hard, like most of the time you don't even need to know, you just, he didn't take some off that's the 6 iron. But that absolutely, in my mind, should have been a penalty. More so because it was, I don't think Ricky said anything, so I don't think it was actually audible. I think he was mouthing it. But, I mean, it was caught. It was pretty blatant. And there's no explaining away what the sequence of all that was. And somehow they wound up explaining it away.
It's
and
amazing.
Explaining it good enough that it just like, okay, we're good. We'll just let it be. But it happens. It happens, I think, on every par 3. I mean, sometimes you get in a threesome or a twosome when the guy's like he's either told his caddy or his caddy's just doing it. He's not going to signal to you, or he covers up his clubs with his towel.
One of these fucking Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Other than that,
combat boots. I don't like the gods on this job.
Other than that, man, you will know what the other guys hit, and it was just, I guess it was unfortunate for the caddies that it was caught on, and I didn't even notice that Brooks was flashing a 5 until this morning too. And then he says something like, I guess I'm supposed to take my glove off with my fist closed or some shit. Like, that's just stop. Like, you can't explain this away. I mean, this is clear what you were doing. But I mean, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the room when they were discussing this. Like, how are you getting out of this? I don't understand
amazing.
how this is possible. And they did, and whatever, it shouldn't. I hope if he wins, I hope he wins by 3, so none of this shit matters. But it should have been a penalty, and more so not because of the act, but more so because it was caught and it was a little bit more egregious and like a little less subtle than we normally are. But it happens. I guarantee it happened once a day in every group out there, if not multiple times a day in every group out there. So it's really not that big a deal. It probably should be a rule amended, maybe not just totally scratched, because like then you could literally, I don't want anybody audibly asking me what I hit.
That's the difference, though.
If you're kind of looking at me, I may just like point my club at you or something like that, or the caddies on the tees, or you hold up a 2, that means you hit a 7, or I guess it means you hit a 2 iron. Hopefully you can discern between the two of those, but I don't know, man.
But what you're describing is the difference in the rule and how it's written, though. Like, if you say it one verbally, that's a penalty, and like technically looking in a bag and flashing that is not a penalty, right? So that's where, to your point, like, I don't know how they explain that away. I really don't.
It was shocking that they were not penalized. Once I saw the video, was watching some yesterday afternoon. It's like, all right, well, whatever he shoots, it's too higher. I mean, it was shocking that they did not penalize him. And I hope it doesn't matter. And I think by like fucking Tuesday of next week, everybody's going to forget about this anyway, but because that's just the way the world works. But should have been a penalty.
Not me and TC.
Well, Tron will not forget about this.
Well, no,
I'm sure.
TC's a big believer in the broken window theory, right? We can't. we got to stop it before it starts, or it can become an epidemic.
There's something. There's a little something to that I can't think of another explanation other than like the intent, and you got to take the player at their word. And if they say they didn't do it, I guess you kind of sort of have to.
Yeah, and then that's where I start having like the most issue.
Right.
I mean, if you get
that sucks,
but then four individuals that were, a part of that situation in a room, and you showed them the video and they tried to explain it away. And I'm not like, Gary's awesome. I know both the caddies, they're all awesome, but like, there's no explanation. What you did was wrong. You should serve a penalty for that. If you're trying to like nickel and dime an explanation, oh no, a spotter here or something like that, or we didn't even see it. He did it, but we didn't see it. And that's I don't know. For how that gets explained away is baffling to me.
Well, and I think what is so fucked up about it is like, I don't know how, unless there's something we're not privy to, which there always could be and usually is.
Sure.
Like, I don't know how you come to this decision in any way other than just, well, this is going to be kind of a fucking mess, so let's just avoid it. And like, I don't know if we really want to deal with the backlash, so let's just not apply this rule. And that's where it becomes like, oh, that's probably not great.
Yeah, it seems like that kind of maybe sort of happened. Like, is Brooks getting a live benefit because they just like don't want to deal with the backlash of maybe penalizing a guy that maybe went to a different tour.
I feel like we got a racehorse just banging against the gate trying to get in the conversation here. Should we bring him in? Guy's been thinking about Brooks all day.
Let's bring him in.
Oh boy.
Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, lads. I'm the Harry Higgs of the future. He's just setting up all my takes.
I wish I could look as good as you, Kev, when I'm that age.
Thanks, Harry.
Well, Shane Lowry and Bo situation.
Yeah, I'll give you some tips off the air. We'll work on it. So, I followed Brooks around today. Asked a question to Brooks. Talked to Gary. Dug into this thing a little bit. We're gonna try to write a little bit about it, but I mean, it sort of distracts from the fact that like the dude threw some kick-ass golf at the course today. I mean, it was really. I don't think he mishit an iron all day. He had one drive on 17 that floated a little right, hit a fan, kicked back into the short, the second cut there, and hit a shot in the middle of the green. So the only thing I'll say, you guys have covered, I think, the 5-gate pretty well, but Brooks lost a Masters because of this very thing, right? At 12, how would Brooks have felt if Tiger Woods had gotten a flash from Francisco Molinari and said, "Hey man, here hit 8, don't hit 9." Or Finau, or any of those guys that hit it in the water. That seems like it's kind of an important thing, right? Like choosing your own club in those big moments. Like, I know this was Thursday, I know this was 15, a little bit different, but to me that just speaks right to why the idea matters. Like, you have to make the decision to judge your club selection in that moment. I'll turn the floor back over to y'all.
It might be different at Friday at Rocket Mortgage.
The defense I'll give there is Brooks did not benefit from this, right? Woodland would have been the one that would have benefited from it. So it's not as if, he saved a shot from it.
So I think the question that a lot of people have, which I have my own theories on, but want to turn to Harry, is like, why do that in the first place? Like, why would you voluntarily help out a competitor?
I mean, I guess the competitor and all of us wants to beat everybody when they're at their best. That would be a hard thing. Like, if I was, let's say I was, Tiger or somebody had gone on 12, use Kevin's example, like, and it was Sunday and we were around the lead, like, I don't think anybody's flashing any hand signals then, right? I mean, it's not, or when you're cleaning that fucking club, you're covering up what you hit. I mean, again, it's still like pretty easy. We're all about going to hit the same club anyway. And if you grab one more and swing, like that might have been 8-iron. Like, he seemed like he took a little off that and it flew a little lower, something like that. You could probably figure it out. But yeah, in that moment, I don't think Ricky has turned into Butchie, Gary's caddy, and Malvin, 9-iron. We're buttoned up at that point, which is just, I mean, I guess it's kind of like in a way, an unwritten rule. Like, well, there's something almost everybody is almost always going to some way, shape, or form either help you figure out what you just hit. And it's not that hard to figure out. No one covers up the bag. So your caddy peeks and looks over and, oh, that's 9-iron. Or, I mean, hell, I mean, there's sometimes where I can see, everybody's 8, 9, and 7 are all in the same gap, and I look at that gap in his bag, and there's an 8 and a 9. I know, homeboy's hitting a 7, right? It's just, I don't know, man. I guess we should all.
Seems like it's giving you a lot to think about.
It really
the rules should be stricken, or like just a fucking free for all, or everybody has to cover up the bag, no hand signals ever, like.
And that's what I think is so funny about this. Like, is like the alternative is, cover up the bag with the towel. Don't let anybody see. Like, you would look like such a chode if you did that. That I think it's almost like everybody overcompensating for just like, oh no, I'm not sure. No, I'm not being protective. I'll tell you what we hit. So look, check it out. Totally fine.
We had one in San Antonio last week on a par 3. I was going last. And the first guy hit, and I was like, Al, what did he hit? And Al just turned to me and just says, I don't fucking know. The towel's over the bag.
Hell yeah.
It was like, well, why would you do that? I mean, it was.
I will tell you the way that they sort of beat the committee, I guess, to sort of, explain this away, is that Gary said there's no way that he would have hit 5-iron if he had seen the 5 thing, because he would have hit 6-iron there. And if he had hit 6-iron, he would have ended up in the water because he was 15 yards ahead of Brooks and they hit at the same distance. And so that was the sort of way. This is directly from Gary, and then Brooks sort of repeated it. So I think they got their story straight, if in fact it is what they sort of were talking about.
That's a good job by them.
Yep.
They would have. It's again. This is all like it seemed to me. The clips that you see, I would be shocked if Gary Woodland did not know before he hit what Brooks had hit. So I don't know, and maybe they did. Maybe Butchie couldn't read, just wasn't looking or couldn't read his lips, and Gary missed the handful that Brooks flashed at him, and the next thing you know, they're like, shit, we don't know what to do. We can't keep asking these guys because they clearly tried to tell us. Who knows? That was
it's a little bit of a loophole, right? If guys aren't gonna tell what you think is the truth, then no one can really override that.
Yeah, you can't really. I guess that's what their explanation. You can't really penalize them. But again, it seemed pretty clear to me what had happened, and it happens often. It just doesn't get caught on camera, and it's not audibly something that you're doing. It's more like what Brooks did. You just kind of flash a, and it's hard to flash a 5. It's a lot easier to just take your, when you're hitting 6, it's just a 1. You kind of take that down the side of your leg or something, and kind of do that. And everybody tries to be much more subtle, I guess, but who cares? I mean, fuck. He's winning.
All right,
I hope he
guys,
wins
play
by
has
3.
been suspended. I need everybody to shelter in place for the time being. Solly, what do you got on the agenda?
I was gonna run Harry here eventually, but I wanted to see what else is the most noteworthy thing he feels like has happened so far in the Masters.
That's really about it.
Or what are you itching
yeah.
to? What do you Rom?
I would
running
I would
through,
love to see. I would love to see Rom fight what seems to be the shitty end of the draw and get up there and then just duke it out. I would love to see haymakers. In a perfect world, Jordan would also just hole a bunch of 45 footers and sneak his way up there at the end too.
God, Rom
it seems like if Victor could have figured out his chipping by now, he would be up there.
Doesn't
that's really? I mean,
yeah.
I would love to see. I'd love to see Cam Young too. Sam Burns is a great friend. I mean, if I had to pick of anybody of all the boards that was showing there, I'd say I'd want Sam Burns to win. I don't see the young Sam Bennett really being much of a factor, but in a way, I guess I hope I'm wrong because that would be sick too. It would be so cool. Koepka and Rahm just bombing it, and Sam seems to play a very much more finesse kind of game. He doesn't seem to hit it very far at all, and he's finding a way to get around this place. It's going to be a little harder if it gets if there's no bounce at all, after some rain. So hopefully some haymakers with sideshows, that might enter the chat as you guys would say. That would be kind of sick.
Love it. Well, appreciate you joining us, man. Have a great Friday night. I hope some High Noon seltzers are in the plans for this evening.
Yeah, I gotta try that tequila one. You can't tell anybody, but I've been drinking a lot more tequila after all the Tito's run. Yeah, don't tell anybody. So I gotta get those and try
our little
that.
secret.
Harry, I want one thing before you get out of here. I know in all everything that you got going on, you've been talking about the time you're putting in the gym. And I know you always laugh it off, but I know you've been busting your ass. So what are we expecting to see out of the rest of your year?
Well, I feel like I'm playing the best golf I can at the moment. I'm still not swinging it the way that I want to swing it. And to what we discussed earlier, right? The ease of the approach play where it just all right, I'm just going to hit this 25 feet to the left and be done with it. And it's a lot less stressful. I don't quite have that ability to do that now. So I find some interesting spots. I'm very fortunate that I've always been a good chipper and putter of the ball and been getting the damn thing up and down from everywhere, but I want it to be less stressful. I am. I've done a lot this week. This is the first thing I do every day. I can't get the goddamn ball airborne without doing something in the gym before. So it's more required than anything else, but I'm going to spend some time next week with a trainer here in Dallas I need to get my rear end out of the way and my chest down instead of kind of humping it and misstriking it at times. So we're going to do a lot of kind of like tailored work in the gym to do that. And then I'm going to do it sun up to sundown.
A lot of head nodding going on right
Pass
now.
along that
I'm
workdown plan to
Yeah.
DJ Pie.
Yeah, share some
yeah, well,
insights and key learnings, Harry. Would be
I
great.
will happily do it. I'm plan on doing it in the mornings and then kind of some correctives like after when I leave. And it's a lot. It's been beneficial, and I've been fortunate that I've never been hurt. And I think that's part of the reason why is that I do actually spend a lot of time on my body. Now again, I'm going to hang up here and go take a shower, and we've got date night tonight. I'm going to get a fat steak and probably baked potatoes. So that has a little bit more to do with the way I look, but I'm certainly making a big push in helping my body move the way in which I want it to move. So yeah, reached out, had a lot of people that were more than willing to help. And I have a lot of people that are already helping, but we're going to try a little new, like more direct, like this is exactly the way that we need to move in the gym to allow you to move that way on the golf course. So hopefully that works. And then, yeah, man, if I hit like 50 or low 50 greens in regulation for a week, I mean, the way things are currently going with the short clubs, I don't think I'll ever finish outside the top 10. So
Hell yeah.
Bring it. Let's go. Let's
Man,
finish the season with a fury. Come on.
it's hard, man. I hadn't been hitting enough damn greens. And I got to drive a little better too. Can't be trying to hit greens from behind fucking trees.
Well, and we need you in that top 50 to avoid the mule circuit too.
Yeah.
Different day.
Get ready, yeah. I mean, that mule circuit's still pretty good. That's like
The big rig's
$8
going to be
million
on the rodeo
purses.
circuit.
Yeah. $8 million purses on that mule circuit.
Lassoing
still
mules.
Pretty good. Still pretty
Hog
good.
tying.
And I got, forced weeks off and all that stuff. Like, shit's pretty good. We'll see how it goes. We've got a few years. We got to see how everybody does. The walk and talks yesterday from Rory and again from Max are just another proof that, like, all right, at least these top guys are kind of leaning into this and they're trying to make this better for the fans, which then just in turn makes it better for maybe us mules. But I would love to get out of that mule circuit.
Harry, you are our favorite mule, if I may say. Mule of the week here on the No Leg Up podcast. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy date night and enjoy the rest of the Masters. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
See you, brother.
Take care.
Harry.
All right. Whether you are a scratch player or if you're new to the game, there's an easy way to lower your scores. Adding a rangefinder to your pre-shot routine will change your game forever. Nobody likes the guy that's asking the playing partners, "Hey, can I borrow your rangefinder? Can you gun this for me? Can you do this?" Our longtime partner, Precision Pro Golf, has created a rangefinder unlike any other. We've been using the NX10 for quite some time now. I don't know how long it's been. It's easily the best rangefinder we've ever used. It has all the essentials like a magnetic cart mount, slope adjusted distances, an external slope switch, HD optics. You also get free battery replacements, a 3-year warranty, and a 30% off upgrade program. So head to precisionprogolf.com/NLU to see our favorite part, which is the customization. You can choose one of the NLU designs at precisionprogolf.com, or you can get a and also with the NX10, you can easily switch the look of your rangefinder. Head to precisionprogolf.com/NLU, code no laying up to get $20 off your NX10 today. KV, you said on
a good comment in there. Nobody likes the guy who's asking what club are you hitting either. Asking for a number or what club you're hitting. That's true. I think that's a timely comment. Thank you for that.
I think the more Harry started talking about that, the more he was like, yeah, it's kind of messed up that we do this to begin with. But like, yeah, that should have been a penalty. But
We walked him right into that one.
Kevin, you followed Brooks a lot, and you actually, if you get to talk to him after the round, or you sat on his presser after the round, but I heard that was a pretty interesting press conference for a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I did ask him a question. The most interesting aspect, I think, of the press conference was Brooks's reveal that after the Masters last year, he was so angry and so frustrated when he missed the cut that in the players' parking lot, or kind of over by the caddy barn, he said he tried to punch out the back windshield of his courtesy Mercedes. Like, basically, like, smashed it once, didn't work, and then tried to punch it again. And everyone was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was a pretty silent ride home." And he prefaced it with, like, "Not sure I should tell you guys this, but yeah." So I think it was always like kind of fascinating to hear Brooks kind of opening up a little bit and sharing some weirdo stuff. I know obviously Brooks wants you to know that story if he's going to tell it, but he didn't really like being a stinky golfer. I'll say that.
You know what's going to make your day really bad is when you're so mad you want to smash out the back window and you can't even do that right. That's going to be frustrating. Also, I'm going to flag that story just a little bit. I appreciate him saying it. Shout out to our guy, Mr. Goodly Cooks, there with the Smash GC joke. But
we're like Dent GC.
Netflix cameras were also following that week, right?
That's correct.
Well, that's DJ. That's a little bit to where I get frustrated with Brooks. Is like you watch the Netflix thing. I know it's heavily edited, but it's like I can't remember who won the Masters last year. Like I'm so checked out. I don't even care. It just ping pongs from I don't care. I don't work out. I don't have to practice. To do you know how fucking hard this is? How hard I'm working. I don't think I can do it. I'm punching out windows on my courtesy car, and so I just get a little bit exhausted with that. Back and forth, and it's not like because I don't think it's authentic passion. That's what frustrates me. Now, keep getting it done on the course, keep balling out like this. I will shut the fuck up because like the golf has been very good the last 2 days, but the commentary is just not for me. It's hard for me to root for that.
Question for Kevin, maybe, but like I obviously have felt that way for a long time too, and I think every single live press conference he's done has been like makes your skin crawl. And he's just like, I'm not going to answer any questions. I'm going to try to stare holes through you, all that stuff. Maybe I'm just an easy sell, and maybe I'm just blown away by how fucking good he hit his irons today. But he seemed a little more genuine in the press room today, I thought. And that was a takeaway from the Netflix thing was like, man, he's going to go one of two ways from this. He's either going to say, I'm never being vulnerable again. I can't believe I did that. That was a mistake. Or like, you know what? The world didn't end, and maybe people like seeing a little different side. And I thought he was just a shade more genuine today. Kevin, I don't know if you agree or disagree.
Yeah, it's actually some of that insight came from yesterday too, where someone asked him, "Did you feel misrepresented in the Netflix thing?" And he's like, "No, actually, I was glad that people got to see another side of me because I always say like what you see on the golf course is not like who I really am." And so I think it's always a little bit interesting at the Masters because everyone's sort of in a genial mood. They're much happier to sort of talk in press conferences. Like Brooks came to press conferences 2 days in a row after shooting the low round of the day. That would never happen on the PGA Tour. He would be like, "I'm just going to do quick quotes, man. I don't want to like go into the presser." But they're always willing to sort of like come and sit down where they're willing to be more open. So he was very much more entertaining. He was smiling. He was cracking jokes. He was making the media laugh. I don't know. It generally seemed like a little bit more at ease with everything and happy to, be who he is.
I think that there's a little bit of a false narrative going around of like he's been doing this, man. Like you guys were sleeping on him. Like everyone was sleeping on him. You don't realize how good he's been playing. It's like, nah, that hadn't really been happening. Like he won last week. Like this is a surprise. Let's embrace the fact that this is a surprise. And part of what has frustrated a lot of us, I don't want to speak for everyone, but has frustrated me is like he was this dogged competitor that was fascinating to watch in majors, that won a shitload of these and like was the dude. Like he was the dude everybody feared. And it felt like him running to live like was the end of that era, right? Him admitting, especially after watching the Netflix thing of like, dude, he kind of saw his vulnerability in the mirror and said it's not coming back. So it is very reasonable to be surprised that this has come back in this fashion and and it's, again, we're only halfway that we're not even halfway there. He's halfway through the tournament. And it is shocking. Like it is really surprising to see him be this well-rounded. Sustainability models are checking it out. Like it's working. Like it is not just like streaky golf that looks like it's about to fall apart. And I'm fascinated to see if anybody's going to give him a run.
The other solid point I think from the press conference that was really interesting is that he was asked, if you were healthy, because he kind of went through all of his injuries, if you were healthy, would have made your decision to go to live harder? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to be honest, it would have. And I don't think that Greg Norman's going to be like bragging about that quote. There's just like a lot of little things throughout the week where Brooks has played or practiced around with Rory. He's obviously not wearing the live, team gear. Some people are explaining that away with his, Nike guys don't have to. Okay. He's given a chance to kind of boost live a couple times and he hasn't taken it. And obviously, we know that like there's some chatter out there that he's having some regrets. So I think he knows probably he's contractually bound to this, but he's not shy about saying like, yeah, it's not that great. And I probably wouldn't be here if I could, if I'd stayed healthy the whole time, but Yeah,
But
I'm
what-
good with whatever.
God, what a fascinating existence, though. If he goes and wins this week, he's locked up to be a Masters player for the rest of his life.
Mhm.
Locks up, refreshes his exemptions, and just knowing, like, man, this dude is miserable, and here he goes to Jeddah, here he goes to Singapore, here he goes to Trump, whatever, and all he wants to do is play 4 weeks a year. Like, that's fucking sick.
It is
So,
sick.
talk about the golden handcuffs.
We have had some calls for some representation. Randy will not be joining the show tonight. He says we're going to be able to eulogize Rory on our own. But
I think what he said
is
was,
some-
you know what? I do it all the time. It's going to mean more coming from you guys.
that is accurate. That is accurate. But let's bring in TC. He's standing by, watching by. He's commenting in the comments. TC, what's happening, buddy?
Hello. And you know what? I've got a special guest with me this evening.
Oh,
Guys.
the franchise.
Oh, hey, Dad. How are you?
I'm good. Surprise, surprise.
We
Surprise.
don't have
That
the
way.
mic on the franchise, unfortunately. But
Oh,
TC,
oh,
what
it's not working. Sorry.
what is what's top of the list for you? What are you fired up about?
Oh my gosh. I think this is going to be a crowning for the ages. It's we're seeing a very gettable golf course the first 36 holes. We're seeing somebody run and hide, not have to deal with the draw at all, and then we're going to see a very wet golf course the last 36 holes, and just not a whole lot of questions being asked. So I think it's going to be a crowning, unless Cam Young, Hovland, things of that nature can step up.
And I'll push back on part of that. There was at least one question being asked, which was like, "What did you guys hit there?" I think that was at least one of the questions that has been asked in Koepka's direction. But I don't know if I could ride with you on that, because like a lot of other people out there had the same draw and didn't go out and do what Koepka did.
Fair, very fair. Sorry, we got the franchise back here. Very fair. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm blown away at Koepka. I think he's just saving all his bad shots for round 3. I don't know. People are all over us. You guys don't want to see Koepka win. I don't want to see Koepka win. It has nothing to do with Liv. It has everything to do with just Brooks. I just think he's a dick, right? But yeah, I mean, he's played brilliant golf so far. So hats off to him.
What I mean, TC, what else got you fired up? Let's empty the chamber here. You haven't been on in a couple days.
Oh, shit, man.
TC, I
Will-
need your
will you-
Rory takes. I
yeah,
need
will
to
you
just
apologize
open
for
up the
Rory?
Rory discussion.
Well, yeah, I'll apologize for Rory if you guys apologize for Rory.
Listen,
I'm
I
ready
should
to
probably
apologize.
put my hand up. I mean, I was honest on Twitter earlier. I went out and I almost fried my brain yesterday with all the feeds I had going, and Rory didn't show up, and the block party got off to a bad start. So I said I left it with the neighbors, and I said, listen, I'm gonna go play golf. I went and played quick 18, actually very quick 18, and I came back and it looked like Firefest. And now I feel like the authorities are involved. I feel like Billy McFarland, and I just am very disappointed because I said it last night. I thought yesterday's round, Rory dug it out a little bit and was able to keep it at even. And he in years past, that would have been the just totally lay an egg and kind of give up. And I felt like today that's exactly what he did. Like, I mean, the par putt on 16 was like, what the like, I went back and watched the replay because I didn't watch most of it. He's dropped from coverage. It was fucking awful. It was just not good golf today. And yesterday I thought he was battling. Today I felt like he kind of waved the white flag, and I hate that. I hate that for all the block party attendees. DJ's jaw rule in this situation.
Well, and I'm trying to get a hold of you this morning. Should we cancel it? Do we not cancel it? Neil's out on the golf course. So I made the decision to pull the plug, cancel
He's
it, which
been
I was
holding
able
it.
to do.
Bamboozled.
You
I was
didn't make,
thankful-
you didn't
no, I
make
was
any decision. The city council shut that shit down, all right?
Yeah, the authorities came in. I was over playing with the pigs on the beach, in the Bahamas.
I was just happy we got everybody out of there before those trees started coming down. That was our big concern, was public safety.
Yeah, we had some structural issues,
It
but
just was not good
Rory's
all the way
round
around.
kind of looked like those trees coming down today. I mean, it was just there was no stop in the fall today. Yesterday he was able to, arrest the fall, and today it got out of hand early and it didn't stop.
And
It sucks. There's a complete lack of pride, right? Like it's at some point after the front 9, it's like, all right, you know what? I'm going to buckle down and go 2 or 3 under in the back here and try to make the cut. And he didn't do that at all. He just kind of packed his shit up and left. That sucks.
Well, I think he tried to. 13 was ugly, but then he made birdie on 15, I think. and then he hit that. He airmailed it on 16, and that's what that's when I feel like he waved the white flag. And
he missed a 5-foot eagle on 15.
This is currently what I feel like. I'm going to clean up tomorrow. I told the cops, just let me be for a minute.
Here's my number. I'm not going anywhere.
I'll be in touch. I'm having trouble connecting with my kids.
Too many limoncellos by the pool.
It's tough.
Neil's gonna go get drunk with one of the bartenders tonight. We'll see how that goes.
It's really disappointing because I do think Randy he'd been in my keister about it. This was the year. This was the moment with Rory. It was all building towards this week. And yes, you could argue like he's putting too much pressure on himself. It's in his head, all this stuff. But man, it's like, God, the greats, you got to summon it. And this would have been a really good for the narrative, KVV, coming in, after all this Live versus PGA Tour stuff, and come into Augusta and just like run shit. And that's not what we got.
I was thinking today that if there's a Succession quote that would have summed it up, is like, he came in thinking he had guns in his hand, and now they've turned into sausages. It just was a bad scene. Just deflating. Like, I don't think he had a lack of pride there, but I think he can't figure this place out. It gets in his brain. It's a little bit of a curse. And I think honestly he's going to play really good golf the rest of the year, but I think he's got to own it. I think it's totally fair for us to sort of treat him the way that we treat any other player who doesn't sort of come on our podcast and stuff. Like, it was a super disappointing experience, and he'd be the first dude to sort of say that it sucked.
Yeah, no one's more disappointed than him tonight, right? Cliche. Nobody wants to win it more than wants him to win it more than he does. It's true, but like I think it's a realistic time to have the question, like ask the question, like, is this going to happen for him? I think a lot of people for a long time have assumed that it will. Tiger in his presser this week, it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time before he wins. He has everything he needs. Dude, I really do think if the Masters was the second major of the year, he would have racked up several of them. But now every year we're going to do the same long layoff, not even be able to pretend like you can't think about it. And you're going to think about it in December and January and February and March. And by the time April rolls around, man, it's like there's just no possible way to downplay the week at all. He's attempted to do that. And now it's like, dude, it just continues to build and build and build. And I think Sergio won it in his like 17th Masters or something like that. And I think next year will be 16 for Rory. So it can happen, but man, if you look at like the data of when dudes win their first Masters, it is not usually that far into their Masters career. So
I think he's got 10 chances left. That's
TC, you still haven't apologized though.
Yeah, I'll apologize. I think it was bullshit the way that you guys treated me after St. Andrews last year. And
I want to apologize.
He's gonna flip this to a compliment for himself somehow.
Cam completely bodied the guy. But I was all over Rory this week. I will hand up. I think the most frustrating part is he's probably going to win at Oak Hill, which like that sucks even more. It's like it's going to feel like, oh, you know what? This was in there the whole time. He just can't get out of his own way, and like he needs to fire Bob Rotella because he just go play golf, man. Just go play golf. Like stop thinking about it. Stop talking about it. Stop trying to reinvent yourself after every single time this happens. Just go play golf. So.
Yeah,
I do want to say this though.
I think that's the whole thing. I just don't think it works like that. TC.
I will be there next year if we get through litigation and the authorities are cool with it.
Yeah, it's not going to slow us down.
You know where to find me. Deej, I don't know about you, but
no, I'll be there. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll be there.
I want it to happen. I'm disappointed, and it's hard. It's like, yes, I want to be critical. Because today was a kind of a disaster, and again I feel like he kind of gave in a little bit, but it just sucks. Like I feel bad for him. Because it's not like he's not trying. I don't know how to put this. I'm just gonna ramble a little bit.
We're not done eulogizing Rory, but we're gonna have to drop TC and KVV.
One more thing.
Okay, maybe we're not dropping TC.
A lot of people coming after me about Sam Bennett. I never once said that Sam Bennett was not a good golfer, wasn't a good golfer. I think he just plays slow as shit, and he goes to Texas A&M. I'm not down with Texas A&M.
It's a blanket fatwa on Texas A&M.
Won't do it. Can't do it. So that's all there is to it.
Thank you, TC.
Hey, gig him, TC. Gig him.
KVV, I know you got some writing to do. Where can we find that? What are we going to see
you,
tonight?
Dad.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little bit deeper into Brooks and a little bit his round and just kind of some of his thoughts afterwards. And in my parting thoughts, I just sort of say that there's a lot of people with very stupid tree opinions out there. Cannot believe that there are people being like, "Oh man, it's stupid. It's a big deal. No big deal." Like I guarantee, like the Augusta tournament committee and the arborists and all that are testing the soil here to make sure this doesn't happen anymore, because that was a super scary situation when those trees went down. They could have easily killed a couple people, if not more. I mean, 2 trees fell around one woman. Think how like close this came to being an absolute disaster.
There were 2 tee times with 18-minute gaps in between them, and those trees fell in between one of those gaps with 18 people. Like, the videos are fucking freaky, and it's probably a bunch of 25-year-olds in your mentions that don't understand like what insurance is like and what liability is like and how professional golf tournaments are run, especially one at this scale. Yeah, there's an issue here, which I think we'll get probably back into. I don't know if our next guest has any tree opinions as well.
God, I bet the guy that runs that insurance policy is a green jacket.
Probably.
It's true. That might help.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Whoop, the official fitness wearable of the PGA Tour. Whoop is a wearable health and fitness coach that specializes in tracking and improving your recovery, your sleep, your activity. So if you're hoping to sleep better, exercise more, reduce stress, or maybe lower your handicap, daily insights from Whoop are tailored to help you meet that goal. 87% of Whoop members say they feel healthier with Whoop. I know it. When my battery dies and I take forever to charge it back up, my health decreases immediately. I need somebody scoring how I'm doing, how I'm sleeping, how I'm, putting myself together. It's not been good lately. I'm just being honest with everyone. All right. I'm always honest when I do the Whoop reads, whether I'm on a heater, if I'm on a downtrend. I'm on a downtrend. Major weeks are always tough on me. With everything from personalized recommendations to sleep coaching, Whoop uses data to provide you with the steps you need to take to maintain positive routines and build healthier habits. Go to whoop.com, WHOOP.com, use code NLU to save 10% off your order. All right, to our next guest. Sorry to keep you waiting for so long. It's hard to get some of these guys to hang up here, but bring it in from Golf Channel and NBC, Miss Kara K Dixon. How are you, Kara?
Hi guys, I'm very good. How are you?
We are we're struggling through a weather delay and a rain delay and a lot of mean people on Twitter, but otherwise we're doing pretty well.
And a Rory collapse, and cleaning up a block party that didn't get started. So
I know, guys, I was going to come to the block party. I was bringing charcuterie. I was ready to go.
It's probably better you didn't make it, honestly. There's a couple things you couldn't really unsee.
It got rained out, and the chairs didn't show up, so everybody was sitting in the mud. It was not good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm out on that.
Next year.
Yeah.
Mark your calendar.
We'll be there next year.
Okay.
Kara, what was the best thing you saw today?
Oh, my goodness. So I think it's pretty cool what Sam Bennett is doing, just from like a confidence standpoint. You expect Brooks Koepka to go out and do what he's done. The tree thing was maybe the most shocking thing that I saw. Glad everybody that is okay. But I met Sam Bennett for the first time, I think, at API last year. He had gotten a sponsor's exemption into the field because he played on the Palmer Cup, or there's some exemption that you get from being the best American or something on the Palmer Cup team. And he said, we did this interview, and he goes, "Thank you, ma'am." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a ma'am." It was just very sweet and very, very nice. So, and we'll see if he can keep it going.
He said the same thing to Van Pelt at the end of his interview in Butler Cabin. He's like, "Thank you, sir," which I got
very polite.
A kick out of that too.
Very polite young man. And my colleague Ryan Lavner wrote a really great piece about him and his backstory. If y'all's listeners have not read that yet, I would highly recommend it.
You guys, you had your first Masters experience this week, I think. What was your biggest takeaway from being on the grounds for the first time?
I did. It was so exciting. And Solly, if I was wearing a Whoop, it would be way down because that was more exercise than I ever thought that I would get. And just the amount of food and drink that I consumed on the grounds, it was like my last time eating ever, just because you had to get as much as you possibly could. I walked from the entrance that we came through. I ended up right at Amen Corner, and there was like a spot on the rope line. And I was like, oh, you know what? We were right up near 13. Like, I'm going to go over to 13 and just check it out, blah, blah, blah. So I stand on the rope line, and who is playing their practice round but Tiger, Rory, Tom Kim, and Freddie Couples. And I was watching them try to figure out if they're going to lay up and, shoot some really nice shots on that green. And I just thought to myself, okay, this is the best day ever. This is my Masters experience. And then I promptly made myself incredibly sore from all of the hills. Did you know that this is such a hilly place?
I've heard-
It is insane.
You must credit Kevin Van Valkenburg with that information, but I've heard that is
Yes.
That was an
it is-
exclusive we had on the
Can
podcast earlier this week.
Can confirm it is wild. The elevation changes are insane. There is no way TV can do this place justice. I think I'm still sore. It's been a couple days since I've left now. I think that my biggest food takeaway was Smiley Kaufman had recommended on Twitter that you should combine the pimento cheese and chicken salad sandwiches.
Wow.
And do like one half with the other. Fire. I also tried it with the egg salad. It was a bit mushy,
Sure.
but still delicious. I was late for the chicken biscuit every day, so huge loss. Hate that for me. Maybe I'll get to go back again another time. And I also will not recover any of the money that I spent at merch, but whatever, it was for a great cause and I don't regret it. So
The
it
merch
was
tent's laid out so
amazing.
nicely. It is, I know everybody knows this, but just the organization, the way they flow people through that place is something to behold.
Yes. And, you go in there and you're like, well, I need to get a hat for blah, blah. Well, if I get a hat for blah, blah, then I got to get a hat for blah, blah. And then, this person has a shirt, but if I get them a shirt, then I got to get it. Now, all of a sudden, everyone gets a shirt. So I'm a really great friend to all my people.
I was
in my
surprised
mind.
the first time I went that I expected to feel like I was walking on eggshells for whatever reason. And I was surprised how comforting the feeling was and how helpful everyone was on the grounds of like trying to get you in the right place or just making sure you had a great day out there. Right. And I guess everything you hear about Augusta is how stuffy it is and things like that. But when it comes to the Masters, they really actually do know how to treat people when they're on the ground.
They completely do. And there just seemed to be a sense of joy everywhere. And I think a lot of that ties back to not having your cell phone because you are forced to actually look up and enjoy the experience. And even if I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna try to put my phone away and just really enjoy the experience, I would still check it, 3, 4, 5 times or something like that. I would still try and connect with the outside world. There's also no clocks anywhere that I was able to find. It was like a casino. You're just like lulled into this false sense of security of having the greatest time ever. You don't know what time it is. You're just walking around, truly living your best life, engaging with the people you're with. On the first day, I had one of my very good friends that I was with, but on the second day that I went, I was kind of flying solo, just doing my thing. I'd made some standing appointments at the big tree by the clubhouse where a bunch of people hang out.
Doing some
so
deals.
it was kind of, it was like, okay, well, I hope this person's going to be there at 10. I hope this person's going to be there at 11. And then you end up running into all these different folks and just, then all of a sudden 3 hours have passed by. You've walked the course a million times and you've had many more sandwiches than one needs to consume. So there's a lot of joy. And yes, like you said, Solly, very, very helpful on the grounds for anybody that I needed to ask what the time was.
I know you're a Rory fan. We were just eulogizing Rory before you came on. What's your reaction to what we just saw out of our guy?
Yeah, I really thought it was the time. If I could gamble on this, I probably would have.
Join these guys. Join these guys. Not
I
me.
know. I'm
That
sorry.
going around.
Sorry, Solly. I know, Solly. You're never gonna. What is your line? You're just not gonna. You're gonna be out.
I'm gonna
when
be
it
surprised
happens.
by it. I'm not gonna try to predict it. I'm not gonna try to predict it.
That's
my
fine.
thing.
That's fine.
No, that's I don't like the fence.
Yeah, I know.
You
We've
got to
addressed
be in.
this.
You got to.
I'm not fence sitting.
No vulnerability. Solid be
We'll be there next year, as we heard earlier.
I can't be more than 100%. I've already reached 100% vulnerability. All right, I've already
Can't
gone
pull
through
over any
it.
farther.
I can't go any more. There's no vulnerability left.
Yeah. I thought it was happening. And other than the players, he's been playing really well. And like what he did at match play, I figured, players was just kind of a fluky thing, or I don't know what was going on. But I hope this doesn't become, I'm sure that, when you think about the Masters, it's really intense and brings up all these emotions. And I can only imagine what that feels like going into that sort of thing every single year. But once it becomes a thing, it's really hard to unthing that thing once it's a thing in your brain and for the rest of golf Twitter and media. So I hope that he can have a healthy way to process this and not have it continue to have negative effects into the rest of his golf and general happiness. But bummed for Roar. I thought it was the time.
You were obviously a lifelong golf fan before you started working in the Crooked Media. What's your kind of dream scenario for a Sunday finish here? How do you feel about Brooks? How do you feel about Rahm? What's your kind of, how would you stack them up if you could go watch anything you wanted?
I mean, if I was like a writer, I would probably be rooting for like the Brooks John Rahm fight down the stretch, and that's kind of what this whole world has turned into, is like Live and is it PGA Tour and all the different entities that are interested in the outcome of things. I mean, would it be in a dream world? Wouldn't it be great if like Brooks and John Rahm are coming down the stretch and then Sam Bennett all of a sudden wins and just this insane?
No, you know who would win? Would be the game.
Yeah.
The game
Yes,
would win.
the game would grow. Absolutely, the game would grow. But I just think about like even for Sam, when Will Zalatoris finished second, his life changed forever. He didn't even have to win the Masters to all of a sudden become a household name in the golf world, and the opportunities that he got from that and all that stuff. So if he goes on to continue to play well, he will absolutely be able to tap into all those opportunities for the rest of his life. But as far as who I think can actually come away with it, not even in a dream space, I think it would be John Rahm would be my thought, even though it's been a bit hit or miss since Genesis, and I don't know why that is or what's been going on, but that would be my thought, would be John Rahm.
There was an article on PGAtour.com actually about Rahm got a new driver head, adding a little bit of spin to it, which is helping him hit the cut that he wanted to hit. I mean, that was the problem really on the Florida swing. He didn't drive it very well, and I had not heard that on television, that he seems to have turned over a new leaf with driver. But
there we go. I had not heard that either, so that's breaking news for me. I've also not been really extremely paying attention to our little Twitterverse. I'm on vacation in Florida with my girlfriends and our husbands. So there's a nice map of the Gulf of
another map. Harry Hines had a map behind him. Listen, I'm a huge map guy. This is great. A lot of maps in the house tonight.
And as a former pageant participant, you know, some people can't afford maps, right? That's
non-U.S. Americans only.
And such as, yes, I do.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad you're picking up what we're putting down there.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Trust me. This joke may have been made in my presence a few times, DJ.
I love that.
Yes, but I can't escape any chat without it, and I appreciate that so much. Sure. I don't know if you want to give context to that, but yes.
Well, I've got
people know.
They'll figure it out.
Okay.
That's like 50 billion views on YouTube. I think we're good.
Okay,
I've got a question for you from time on site this week. Was there a hole that you've watched the tournament on TV for years and years, first time in person? Was there a hole that surprised you that's like a new favorite or something that you came away with that you're like, man, I've never, didn't realize how interesting this hole was?
So I was walking down from the clubhouse alongside 10 on the right side of 10. It took my breath away. It was so beautiful. Just looking at the bunker in the middle of the fairway, and it was I didn't think that I would be so taken aback by it. Yeah, there we go. But from the other side.
Come on, Cody.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
On demand.
This is your angle.
Appreciate the effort.
You got to work with what you got. You're in TV. You know this.
I'll go.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it works for them.
Well, if I was on TV, I would not have said, no, wait, from the other side. I stopped and took a really bad picture with my digital camera of it, because I just thought it was so beautiful and how steep it is as well. I was also just surprised by how the elevation changes in the fairway, like how many blind shots there are. I didn't realize how many blind shots there would be at Augusta National. I can't remember exactly what shocked me, but I remember walking past one and saying that would be extremely difficult. So, yeah.
Well, I didn't realize we were keeping you from a vacation, so we are going to let you go, and I hope you guys have a great trip and enjoy what part of the Masters you're able to watch. And we appreciate you coming on. I think the only way we could conclude this is to say thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kara. Take care.
Bye. See ya.
I am currently, a couple people in the mentions were saying that Bob Harig reporting that the Masters Committee is revisiting the rule situation with Brooks Koepka, but
really?
I cannot quite.
Those guys made a lot of. We were listening to the live show. Those guys made a lot of good points. We're we're gonna look back into this thing.
I can't quite tell if the article. It sounds like from the article I was just reading briefly. Sorry to be trying to do two things at once here, but it sounded like it was maybe a little bit of past tense of they did revisit it today and showed them the video and talked about it. But
I think that Brooks talked about that in his press conference. I think they went back to him today to say like, oh wait, we talked about Ricky, but now here's you. putting a 5 out as you're taking your glove off. Tell us about that. And then I think he was like, oh, I was just taking my glove off.
Gotcha. Okay. So it doesn't look like it's still under consideration here, but maybe they did listen to the show last night and wanted to ask him a couple more things. So that is
Well,
interesting.
let's reopen it again. How about, do you think SVP was sliding in a little shade today?
Oh,
when he was,
for sure.
at 15. Okay, here we are at 15, the approach. And what club was that?
When he's interviewing Brooks, and Brooks like, this is 5-iron. It's like, oh, okay, perfect.
What club was that?
That's pretty good.
Good stuff. All right, guys, I got a yes or no question for you. Do we have a Monday finish? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no. I think tomorrow's gonna be. Wow, God, I'm gonna
There's
say
a lot of golf left on the course.
I think there's a lot of rain coming tomorrow. I think it might be tough tomorrow.
Is it enough rain to like delay play, or are they just going to play in some rain? I don't know the answer to that.
Cody, sorry if I'm setting you up for failure. I don't know if you have your TC's meteorology slides pulled for tomorrow. Of course he does.
Here we go.
These are I think maybe from yesterday, but I thought there was more rain coming tomorrow, but
This is Saturday into Sunday. This will be Sunday for you.
There's rain coming. I just don't know if we know how much.
Gotcha. Well, then in that case, I guess we'll see.
But if there's rain, they play. I mean, for the most part, they're playing in rain.
I thought there was an updated. Maybe I was looking at one of TC's other models, but I thought it was a lot more rain.
He sends too many damn models. I don't have time to upload everything that he's
got.
got.
Imagine being him. He's
I
got all
believe
that
this is the
info covered.
NAM.
Yeah,
the North American model.
I think that's right.
I know we
If
kind
there's
of
no lightning though, we're good, right?
To an extent, unless it's like pooling on the greens and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool.
And again, I know we touched on this a little bit with KVV and a little bit with Harry as well, but I mean, yeah, we don't mean to breeze past what happened on 17 today with that tree falling down while like spectators are out there and while play was going on. You know, KVV threw out the possibility or the thought of like, and I was wondering the same thing of like, again, if it was 50-mile-an-hour winds knocking stuff over, I think it'd be like, oh, this is a freak weather incident. If it was lightning strike that knocked a tree over, it'd be like, yeah, that's kind of a freak weather incident that is part of the risk, you know, of running a golf tournament, having an outdoor tournament. But in those winds for a tree to blow over, I feel like should be causing some alarm bells. I don't think that's supposed to happen. And with that many people walking around, it's luck that any tree that would fall on that property wouldn't fall on someone when you're hosting a major sporting event. And I'm wondering what's going on there tonight.
Solly, I agree with you. Like,
it's not a fun block to be on.
no,
but
when you say all that out loud, but this is like a tailor-made. It was like made in the lab for a divisive Twitter issue of like oh my God, now we're worried about trees falling, you snowflakes, this and that. Like, it's like, oh, like let the boys play. You know, put them back out. It's just it's a tough. I agree with you, but it's tough because it's like, oh my, everyone's just going for, you know, it's the classic, like, well, I could die if I walk outside and get hit by a car, you know,
forget that.
It's dangerous.
And I don't know if the trees.
I think the difference is maybe Larry Mize is not going to get hit by a car in the field of play than most other sports and he almost did today.
I think I don't know if those were planted ones, but Augusta is famous for having planted a ridiculous amount of trees, right? And we've seen trees. Yes, enormous trees. And like, again, I'm not an arborist. I don't know like how this stuff works, but the root system does not seem great if it's going to tip over in that amount of wind. And dude, I don't if maybe it was the first time I saw the video was with sound of the tree falling. Dude, it freaked me out. Like, it was pretty freaking horrifying, especially when it was like, you could see chairs that the tree hit on the way down. Was like, dude, this could have been way, way, way worse. And it's kind of a miracle that it wasn't way worse. And yeah, it's just, again, when something like that, like if a bridge collapses somewhere, all that triggers like a lot of examinations of all the other bridges in the area. Like, that's how liability works. Like, there's a problem here if this is falling over, and that's where I'm wondering like what is going on there tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wish I had something more to add, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Don't know a lot about insurance. Don't know a lot about trees. I hope everybody's okay, and I hope they're doing everything they need to do tonight to make
and
sure.
Shout out to the lumberjacks that were standing by.
I was going to ask. They're standing by. How many teams are standing by? How many different teams? What else do they have standing by?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a good indicator of Augusta's, like, they have contingencies for everything. Like, this guy's just waiting to get out there. Like, if you need me, I'm ready. Like, this was happening team in lumberjacks.
Shortly after that tree fell, he was chopping down the rest of the half tree that fell. Like, do they have a squeegee team standing by? Do they have
we know we have that.
Okay, leaf blower teams fully standing by?
sure.
Is that-
They were out there
we got
today.
the scissor team. You know, come on. There's a whole. I mean, feels like
What do we need the scissor team for?
those
Wardrobe
guys.
malfunctions?
They're trimming the edges. I went to a practice round a long time. Saw some guys out there like on the bunker edges doing scissors.
That would be tough to do during play, but I dig it. I respect.
This was after play, not during play. This was like as I was walking out of the event.
If you watch the replay of that too, of the one that we retweeted, you can see like as the tree's falling, Minwoo Lee's caddy like turns away from the action. He thinks it's about to fall on somebody. He refused to watch it when that tree fell. Like it's
fight or flight,
not
man.
fun.
You can check it out right there. People have decisions. It's not something you train for. You just have it in you.
Yeah. So
Fight, flight, or freeze, Cody.
Well, that's true.
Your boy's freezing for sure. Just
some people are asking me to apologize for Scotty. I'm not going to
Will you?
apologize. I will absolutely not apologize.
I was very hot on Scotty yesterday too. So I'm kinda with you.
He's leading the field in strokes gained in tee to green. Like if you run 1,000 simulations of this, if he's going to be number one in strokes gained tee to green, there's no possible way he's T29 and 11 shots back. Freaky week on the greens. You can't prepare for that. I regret absolutely nothing. He's hit the shit out of the ball. He's second in strokes gained approach. He is just truly dead fucking last in putting. I mean, like horrific at putting. It was kind of rubbing edges a little bit on Thursday. Today was not even close. He had horrific 4-putt, a 3-putt on 13 from, I don't know, 20, 15 feet, maybe most for Eagle straight up the hill. And it was horrific. It was really bad. And he seems very frustrated. He got over Ted Scott on the 6th hole today. He just did not
extremely bitchy today.
Very bitchy
throughout the day.
Not good. That I will apologize for. I will apologize for being bitchy.
Thank you.
You know, and it goes back. He got a
Wait
little
a
chippy in his
second.
interview too.
This is everything that you guys are always begging for. You want more fire out of Scotty. You want to show him a little bit of passion.
It's still bitchy.
No, not being bitchy.
You got something though. He has that dog in him. He was I absolutely loved it. It was way more than just him bebopping around. Oh, look, I just made a
Well,
putt.
no, he was being bitchy and he was hangdog. The shoulders were slumped all day.
That's true.
Okay, so that's not what you're looking for either. Like you don't.
No one's ever pulled off the I can't hit a better shot than that and not sounded bitchy in some way, right? Like that's directed at Ted Scott, and that's like, dude, you got to own that one a little bit. It was a ball that he was expecting to fade back to the back right pin on 6, and anyone that was slightly left of that pin on 6 was getting rejected by it, and it did not fade, and he blamed the wind for it, and it's just not a dude that seemed like he was in control of all of his emotions.
Well, I'm glad to hear you apologize, Solly. That's cool to see.
Yeah,
Not for
appreciate
picking him, but for him being bitchy, I will apologize for. I want to be
Kick me
clear on
out.
that.
Can I go down the leaderboard for just a second? Couple names I want to call out.
There's some fascinating stuff going on.
Yes,
There's
there
a lot
is.
going
I
on.
think big spot for Cam Young. He's got
Also,
9 holes left.
Have we even talked enough about Sam Bennett? I mean, Kira brought him up just for a minute, but like the guy's made 1 bogey over 36 holes as an
It's
amateur at the
insane.
Masters, playing with the defending champ / #1 player in the world. And like, I guess I don't have all that much more like intelligent stuff to add, but it does not seem like he's getting enough run. It's if Brooks and Rahm are not ahead of him, it's a much bigger story.
Well, then are you guys going to apologize for selling last night? Because I was buying last night.
I'll apologize for that. Yeah, I did not see that coming today.
I'll
That was-
apologize and I'll resell. Like it's there's a lot of shit that's about to happen, right? I will.
Continues to short.
Yeah, I
somebody
will.
squeeze this motherfucker.
I'll go all the way. I'll go down with it. Like it's just
Squeeze his ass.
extremely unlikely. And everything's about to flip as far as the playing conditions for the rest of this tournament. It's going to be a brand new golf tournament. So I hope he continues it. I really do.
But I thought Harry had some good points. Like he seems, I don't know if he was right about him. He seems to hit it plenty far to me. I don't know.
I think he was kind of a little shorter than Max on a lot of the tee
but
shots.
he seems pretty patient out there. Like this doesn't feel fluky. Like the last 2 rounds have been like, sure, like there's probably a big number waiting for him at some point this weekend, but it doesn't feel like he's getting up and down or it feels like he's playing rhythm golf.
Really solid golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My body would never be able to get in that
Oh.
position, by the way. Interesting comments in his post-round presser today. And I quote, I mean, Ridgewood, where he won the U.S. Amateur, was harder than this place, meaning Augusta National. End quote, Sam Bennett after today's round. I don't know how the Green Jackets are going to take that, but I think it shows a little bit where he's at mentality-wise.
Listen, Ridgewood is hard, full stop. So I don't know. I've never played Augusta, so I could not comment on that, but I can say that Ridgewood was a very difficult course.
Can confirm. Well, for anybody wanting more Sam Bennett content, I think we're gonna have a written piece. Young writer making her debut on nolayingitup.com. Jordan Perez she covers a lot of amateur golf stuff. She met and spent a lot of time with Sam at the USAM last year, I believe, and she just filed a little Sam Bennett piece for the website tonight. So go check that out. Shout out to Jordan. She's been helping us with a lot of stuff. She's been great.
So, want to say big spot for Cam Young. 9 holes left. I think it's a real chance for him to enter the chat, as they say. Like, I feel like Rahm's not going anywhere. Brooks is already there. I feel like Cam Young would be a great third dog in this fight. And another one, Jason Day. God, I got in my car after golf. It's like, man, he's got it. He's cooking right now. And then it just fell apart, man. And that I didn't see that coming. I thought he was going to be there at the end of round 2. I don't think he's out of it. Like, I think he could kind of continue to build back into this. But it's just tough to see him go backwards to even par today. That was a tough finish.
He laid the sod on a wedge on the downslope on 15, which, again, if you've ever been to Augusta National, that it makes way more sense if you've seen it. It's a shot I truly never want to hit in my life. I do not want to hit that shot. Even if it was like a dude come out of the gallery and just if you would get one shot at Augusta, it's like, oh yeah, it's going to be this downhill wedge on 15. I'd be like, no, I'm good. I don't ever need that scar tissue. He made double there and then he went on to make 2 more bogeys coming in. He had it all the way to 9 under par and was absolutely cooking. It did not last, unfortunately. We got to shout out Morikawa. We have not talked about him very much this week. Really not another 69 back to back this week, is rolling the ball really well. Obviously his iron play has been really good. It's just been extremely steady golf. Now we see if the dome golfer can handle what's about to come, which is a question, and we will see. And sustainability models did catch up with Victor Hovland a bit today. He is 1 over through 10.
He grabbed his Mountain Dew. He's heading out to the parking lot. No, nothing to worry about, Neil. He's not loitering out there.
He is 80th of 86 players in around the green today. The chipping continues to be an issue, but his putting went back to normal a little bit today, and he's at 6 under par. So,
and how about Mickelson?
Oh, Phil,
unbelievable.
Top
Unreal.
10.
I don't think I saw a shot from him today. I need to go back and watch some replays. Did you guys see any highlights? Like, I'm looking at the leaderboard. I'm like, he's 4 under, 3 under today. Unbelievable.
I just saw some of his quotes saying he's about to go on an absolute tear, and that he was turning a lot of 66s into 77s, which
we
seems
all
like
are.
You got to work a lot of. Yeah, I'm doing that a lot too, but I don't think I'm about to go on a tear. But maybe he's right.
It was less.
Phil was right.
It was less. It was less swashbuckling than it was yesterday. It was less up and down. It was just a somewhat normal round of golf, I guess, if you will. But again, the sustainability models are going to force me to just at least bring up the issue. Listen, I'm thrilled to see Phil actually doing something. It's just sad when he's doing absolutely nothing. It brings me no joy to say leading the whole field in putting so far this week, which again, with someone like Phil, like, maybe that is an experience thing, and a hot week on these greens maybe that can be sustained. I feel differently than I do someone like Hovland having an out of body putting week. But yeah, he's not exactly striping the ball. And again, it's about to be a whole different golf tournament going forward, but I hope he sticks around. We need it. He's going to say some outlandish shit. He's going to get even more ballsy with the flop shots, and it's going to open that face up even more. And he's going to take it even farther past parallel on the flop shots. He's going to try some outrageous stuff. He's got absolutely nothing to lose, and I hope he stays, but I don't know. We'll see.
I want to also shout out KBV's piece on Mickelson yesterday. I read it this afternoon, right as the horn blew, and the quote in there about the guy, like, for $100 million, I push you down the stairs, to his wife. It's like, not like anyone's out here recording me. Like, God, that was just a choice quote that he found in the crowd. I would love more of that kind of content from his reporting on the ground.
It's unlike us to leapfrog other names, leapfrog this name to get to other names on the leaderboard. But Jordan Spieth, T6, 5 under par through 17. He is playing the 18th hole. I forget what has he teed off on 18 yet? I don't remember where.
Yeah, he finished.
He's in.
It was the first stoppage. Then he finished out, and he came up short. It pulled back down the plateau, and then he 2-putted.
Apologies, I had not hit refresh there on my on my stat sheet. So yeah, he's sitting at T6 after a 70. I don't know what to make of his week. It's nothing great, nothing terrible. It kind of, again, it always just seems like his whatever Augusta charm puts him in this spot. I don't know if he's got a hot run to come, but I like where we're sitting. I mean, 7 shots back is a lot, but again, long way to go in this golf tournament.
Do you guys feel like minus 12? You think we're staying there? We going up to 13, 14? Like, what do you think the final is?
I think
no idea.
Dude, I kind of, based on the forecast, like I think Rahm is at 9 right now. I gotta think he would take 10, right? I mean, I think
it depends on what they do with the pins. I mean, today the conditions were not difficult today, but the pins were just a little bit harder, and the scoring average went up about a shot for the overall, I think, for the day. So it depends on what they do with the pins. I really don't know. Usually Saturday is kind of set up for a little bit of carnage. I really don't know. I mean, it can go two ways, right? A lot of the rain can soften the golf course and make it easier to stick it next to pins, but if it plays extremely long, that could be a bit of an issue. So I really don't know what they have in mind for this, because I also can't really figure out what's going to happen with this weather.
Yeah.
Cameron Smith's shot out of the bunker on the 8th hole. He hit what looked like a 3-wood, I assume, from 250 yards out of the bunker, straight up a hill, onto the green and made eagle. That was one of the shots of the tournament so far, I'd say. Can I just put a hand up on the yardages and the approaches from 8 green into 8 green? Again, if you've been there, it is straight up a hill.
It seems like it's 700 yards.
And dudes just groove 3-woods from 282 onto the green every single time. Not even working that hard to get it up there. And I just want to call into question the yardages on that hole, because I know these guys hit it far, but uphill, that's absolutely absurd.
I don't know. It feels like it's weirdly firm. Like the ball just seems to skid through that last bit of the hill, and then they always run out to the back of the green.
Yeah, I think it goes straight up and then it gets flat at the top. And if you land it up on the top, I think it'll kick forward. But I'm with you. I'd still sign your petition to investigate that.
I love watching balls trying to fit into that, which is, Tiger's always hit that hook in there. A couple times he's tried to hit a fade over the trees so far in this tournament. I don't know if we need to talk much about the cat. I don't really have a whole lot to add other than it's just kind of happening. It's just, he's just there and he's doing it.
Yeah. I just want to enjoy the last 9 holes. If that's it's kind of just taking it as it comes a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Not much to say. He seems to be battling. It's not super exciting, but it's something. It's there to watch.
The thing that I'm such a stupid sucker for this, but the thing that does get me is I kind of want him to tie the all-time consecutive cuts made record. I don't want him to play on the weekend. I think he should make the cut and then WD, but I am rooting for him to tie that. That's pretty sick.
He just wants to add another cut to his pension. I think that's
true.
The main reason why he's out there trying to get it done.
Speaking of, we haven't mentioned it all. Fred Couples, oldest player in Masters history to make the cut, or assuming he doesn't, triple the last hole. That's pretty awesome too.
It is. It's insane. Max
Neil,
Homa,
will you go on the record and say it's not awesome? We got anything to talk about this? Or
no, I've always been a big fan of Fred. He still seems to have the timing in his swing. He just kind of, in some ways, he gets it through the zone a little bit like Scotty Scheffler does. Just chimes it up and it's a very violent move through there. He kind of flicks his wrist. It's always fun to watch him play golf. So whenever he pops on TV, I kind of stop what I'm doing. I'm like, oh shit, it's Fred Couples. I really enjoy watching him hit the golf ball. Always have.
How do you feel about the yellow ball?
I mean, if he can't see, I'm cool with it. I mean, I bet he's probably I can't see the ball. I'm just trying to keep an eye on it.
A good run from Saha Tagala today, 3 under through 14 up into his T21 sitting there as of right now. So Rory kind of messed up our parlay with Rory being in the top 10. That was a tough break for us.
That's tough. Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
guys, we've got the one of the best rounds out there was quietly Russell Henley.
Yeah,
5 under. He's got to finish on 18, but whoa, that's pretty good.
A.H. Lee shot 5 under today. That first I'm hearing of this. That is definitely news to me. But
just so people don't think we're skipping the live guys, got to shout out P and Neiman. Nice rounds to move up the leaderboard too.
I told you I had a feeling about P.
Yeah, you did.
I had a feeling.
Solly also told you it hasn't turned into a driving contest yet, which if it gets wet and cold and windy, I think P might
for sure
vacate the premises.
Guys, I continue to have to remind myself that Gary Woodland won the U.S. Open. He sits at T10. I just don't really ever think about Woodland as a real factor. Is that fair or unfair?
Yeah, it's totally fair.
I think that's
Okay.
fair.
I mean, he might be like the ultimate lingerer.
I think it's just worth noting. We can play how far back is too far back, and again with what's coming, I'm willing to go pretty far down this board to say that you're not too far back. Also, thinking back on Southern Hills last year, how far back JT was with like 9 holes to go has made me rethink this game, especially when there's 36 holes to go, of how much can change. So
Yeah, I just think with the firepower up at the top of the leaderboard, though, and a lot of guys that have won a lot of tournaments, a lot of majors, I'm pretty comfortable with 5 under being a good barometer for me. Like that's I think if you're, and even that feels like a stretch, right?
I think I'd go lower than that. I mean, because some dudes have still have some round 2 golf to play, right? So,
well, yes, I know. So I guess that's an unfair, like, because Cam Young's got, obviously he's still in. He's got 9 more holes to get off 5 under, but 7 strokes from 12 under, like, that's.
But I always look at what second place is, right? If you can get really tied into what first place is, but like where are the groups, right? And there's only 3 guys better than 6 under, right? So that's different than if there was a throng of people sitting there a few shots back. So with that in mind, honestly, I'm willing to go all the way down to 2 under. I think the guys at 2 under.
Wow.
Well, I mean, dude, Cam Smith has 10 more holes left to play in round 2. I mean, if he ends up at 5 under or 6 under through the end of his round 2, like absolutely he's in this golf tournament. So, I mean, even, I don't know, Xander, he's not going to win, but at 1 under, but has 8 more holes to play on, including the back 9 in round 2. Like there's, again, we're not through 36 holes yet.
Yeah,
That's where I'm coming from.
Asterisk there for sure. But okay. But for the guys that are done,
if you finished your round, I think 4 under is
4 under, right? Like I'll meet you at 4, but 5 feels like a
handshake.
I'm right there. Deej, what are you thinking?
I'm with you guys. I'm gonna shade to 5. I think 4 is out for the sake of argument. Spieth's in.
Controversial. Bold, brave take.
Yep.
Anything else you guys got tonight? I am. We might wrap before the sun's completely set here on the East Coast, which is a shocker.
I will say one thing. As I said, I kind of played hooky and went and played some golf this morning. I had the feature group on my phone in the cart, hooked it up to the speaker, and it was delightful to just kind of hear it in the background, the ambience. And I love all the feeds that I can have and the command post I can set up, but I just don't know if I can take in all that info, and it kind of burned me out a little bit. And it was I felt like I almost got more out of that. And like, oh, Brooks just eagled 8, like you kind of get like, it snaps you into it.
Yeah.
As you go. So
I did the same thing at the coffee shop this morning. Had a nice little coffee get together with some folks, iPad on the table, and you kind of check in, check out. It was great. Everybody got robbed. I think everybody's like somewhat fairly pointing out like, not a lot of juice out there. What's going on? And I think we got robbed of a really, really good telecast today because the golf course is playing really fun and there's a lot of awesome names going on. It's just, today would have been really cool, but them's the breaks. Hopefully tomorrow's great.
It does suck for everyone involved. The Friday, especially the ESPN, the Friday Masters telecast, which is always awesome, just gets almost totally washed out. But what can you do? I think that's about it for tonight. We'll be back with live shows, of course, on Saturday
shelter in place
Sunday. I hope we get to play a lot of golf tomorrow. We will be standing by as soon as play is called, if it is, to be back here tomorrow. Cody, anything before we drop?
We whooped it. Very good show, guys.
Articles coming up tonight at nolayingup.com. Thank you to High Noon. Thank you to Precision Pro. Thank you to Whoop. Thank you to Harry Higgs, Kevin Van Valkenburg, Tron Carter, Kira K. Dixon, and DJ Pie, Neil, Cody, everyone on production. Greatly appreciate you all.
And thanks for all you do for the game, Solly.
Oh, well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Gosh, thank you guys. I really appreciate that. So see you back here tomorrow. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Cheers.
Cheers.